Well, this may be the last video that I can do because I leave tomorrow morning, and I gotta get a taxi out of the hotel at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to the train station to catch a 5:30 train to Madrid, and that's about a 3-hour ride. And then my flight leaves Madrid at 1:30. So as long as everything's on time, I'll be all right. This has been a really eventful trip. It's full of unexpected surprises. So, yesterday, or was it yesterday? I've lost track of time. I've been here in Santiago all day. I've booked an extra day. And I attended Mass today at the St. James Cathedral. I'll try to cut in some video of that experience and the absolutely beautiful altar. Here's some thoughts on that. But anyway, it was very inspirational, and I didn't understand a word they were saying because it was all in Spanish. But you know, one of the things that I've learned is that religion is not a left brain activity. You know, the left brain is what processes questions and answers and always seeks an answer and got to have everything tied up. And I'm learning that religion doesn't work that way. Religion is a right brain activity. The right brain is where inspiration and mystery lies. And so I sat there for an hour not understanding a word they were saying, but it didn't seem to matter because my mind was working in different ways. And I found it to be very meaningful, and I think I might pursue it when I get back home. Because in today's world of nastiness and meanness and constant change and never knowing what's going to happen from one day to the next, I think we need to be grounded in some ways, and what better way than religion? So that was a meaningful experience. But shortly before that, I'm walking down the street here in Santiago, and all of a sudden I hear somebody call my name. I looked over, and it's my friend from San Antonio, Dave, who heads up the Camino Association in San Antonio and has done some workshops for us and led us on some hikes. And there he was. And that was a very pleasant surprise. And we went to the Mass together, and then we went and had some lunch, and he was going to meet a friend of his here, and his friend showed up and was a fascinating man. He was English. His name was Anthony Hayden Smith. And he was every bit as distinguished and intelligent as his name. And we sat there for over an hour. We had a great conversation about everything from religion to the Camino. And it was just really a wonderful time. So I really like Santiago. I would like to come back here sometime. The streets are full of people. Everybody's walking around, and I know a lot of them are tourists, but a lot of them are locals too. And I think it just has a nice feel to it. I'm sitting in a little outdoor cafe now, having a cup of coffee. And so some of the really interesting things happened along the way. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I was on the last 10-mile stretch coming into Santiago. And so this woman was walking ahead of me, and she turned around, she stopped, and she had this tiny little video camera. She said, "Would you take a video of me walking?" said, sure. So I took this little camera, and she walked ahead, and I'm filming her. And after we finished, she, of course, thanked me, and then we started to chat. She spoke English. She was from Australia, but she was of Chinese descent. She was from Australia. It turned out that she was a PhD in drama therapy. How interesting is that? And she was a lecturer at the universities, and she had just gotten laid off from her job, and she was kind of happy about that because now she was on the Camino trying to figure out what she wanted to do with the rest of her life. And we walked together for a long time and talking, really making friends, having a good time together. And we stopped at this little cafe, and we're having a cup of coffee. And I was telling her about this book that I had just read by Arthur Brooks called The Meaning of Your Life. And I was so amazed. I finished the book at my previous stop, and I turned to the last page, the last paragraph, and bam, the last paragraph after this book full of scientific facts and great wisdom about finding your life's meaning and purpose. His last paragraph said that he found his life's purpose and meaning on the Camino de Santiago. And he spent the whole last paragraph of the book talking about the Camino. And the final words of the book said, if you're looking for meaning in your life, then look up the Camino de Santiago. I just thought that was just absolutely amazing. And I'm telling her this, and now this other woman is listening in on our conversation, and she comes over to the table. She said, I couldn't help but overhearing you talk about this book. And it turned out now she was from Germany. She spoke English, and she was an engineer, but studying to be a psychologist. So now we were sitting there at the table, all three of us, having this great conversation about drama therapy and finding your life's meaning and purpose. And it was just really, I hope I find more of those back home because it was really a nice thing. And then we walked together for a while, and then we walked on into Santiago, and I walked through the town with Angela, the Korean woman from Australia. And then she had to go one way to get to her hotel, and I had to go to another. I'm hoping I run across her here sometime today because she was really nice. I liked her a lot. So you run into all kind of people like this. And it's been a really rewarding experience. I think maybe tomorrow going home could be harder than the Camino because thank goodness I booked a, what do they call, premium economy. But on the flight over, premium economy was a little bit roomier than economy, but not much. But it was better. I remember at one point on the flight, because I was right up at the front of the premium economy section, no chairs in front of me, so I had plenty of leg room. So I stood up at one point, and I looked behind me. All I saw behind me was this sea of heads in economy, this huge plane. You know, the first thing I thought of was slave ship. And if it had been oars coming through the windows and those folks had been rowing away, it would have been totally appropriate because that's exactly what it looked like. And it just didn't look very comfortable. So that's really about all I have for this one. My mind is kind of blank. I'm waiting to go back over to the plaza in front of the cathedral, and I'm going to put some photos in there for you, and also a video of what they call the Boto Fumiero, and it's this huge incense burner It hangs from the ceiling in the chapel. And what they do is they load it up with incense and they set it on fire. And of course, it's smoking like crazy. They have about 6 priests grab the pieces of rope and they hoist it up in the air, and then they pull it and they get it swinging back and forth. And it swings slowly at first, and then it gets higher and higher and higher, spreading this wonderful smoke throughout the cathedral. And then finally it just goes all the way up to the ceiling, all the way back down. It's a big event, and everybody's there to watch it. So I got to see that. We were sitting in the right place too. And I've got a video of that I'll share with you. And for you folks that have requested for me to leave a prayer for you, I've already done that, and I sent you an email and in a photo of the little ancient church where I left the prayer that you sent me. But I also lit a candle for you in the cathedral, and I'll put a photo of that as well. But you know, this is pretty significant. This is the Cathedral of St. James, and St. James's relics are actually buried there. This is one of Christ's apostles. That's his church. So I might be able to carve out some time to. I haven't gone down to actually see the burial place yet. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that or not. Me and my friends and I are going to meet in the plaza later tonight. They have a band playing that's supposed to be really good, so we'll end with a little music, and then I'll go back and see if I can catch a few winks and head back home. So once again, thank you for supporting me. You've made this trip possible, and I will continue to figure out ways to repay you. And you have my eternal gratitude. Thank you so much. And who knows, maybe I'll see you on another video before I get home. Bye.